4, Terrifier, Lauren LaVera, Elliott Fullam, Leah Voysey, Corcoran, Mason Mecartea, and Jon Abrahams. Hold on for a second. Well, why did only one of you guys come up here? What's going on?
Well, I thought I could maybe sing a little song for everyone before we start.
Is there any specific song that you might want to hear her sing?
Clown Cafe!
Let's chant it for her. Ready? Clown Cafe!
Clown Cafe!
We're doing it a cappella today, so you guys get to hear just the raw vocals, all right? Let's do it. Drop on by the Clown Cafe, your favorite meals on wheels. The menu is disgusting and it's full of special deals. Nothing here is good for you, so grab yourselves a tray, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Gobble up your order quick before it runs away, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Why not visit after school and have yourselves a bite? An appetizing appetizer certain to delight. We haven't done it right unless it makes your teeth decay, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. The grub is downright gruesome, but your appetite's obey, 'cause food's a little funny, food's a little funny, food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe.
Damn, Leah, you were, dare I say, on fire?
Oh, thank you, thank you. I see what you did there.
Are y'all motherfuckers having fun? Okay, left side, you having fun? Yeah! Right side, you having fun? Oh shit, right side. Left side, you having fun? Yeah! Right side, you having fun? Oh, I don't know, I think it's a tie, it's a tie.
Things have changed just a little bit in the Terrifier world since then, huh? You guys are a little bit more well-known. What's it like being like stars now?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. It doesn't feel different. I think the only real change for me is more people come and say hi. So I don't know, I just feel grateful, and I'm happy that more people have been corrupted into watching this franchise.
And it's cool to see the different opportunities that we can get, you know, from being in this movie. For me specifically, I guess a big change is the last time I was at this convention, that was the first convention that I had ever done. And now, 2 to 3 years later, because of singing the Clown Cafe and Terrifier 2, I got to be on a Nice 9 Kills track.
Elliott, I was turned on to your little punk people.
Thank you. Yeah, I eventually want to get back to doing all the interviews and stuff, but I've just been making fun Instagram reels and TikToks and stuff talking about music. But to answer your question, it's like an existential crisis. I can't believe it. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's like it doesn't exist.
When Terrifier 3 premiered, it was the largest premiere of an independent film ever.
I definitely knew that. I'm somebody who's worked in mainly independent film for 30 years, and it's awesome. And you would think that the studios would like realize that they don't need a lot of money to make movies well, but they don't seem to realize that, and they just continue to like try to make these, you know, horror films, but for mega budgets, and I just don't think they work as well, you know? So I'm excited. I think it's amazing for independent film, and hopefully it translates to a lot more people seeing the monetary value in indie films. You know?
Well, it's the highest grossing unrated film of all time. Is it still? Like, a film that beat it, or originally was holding that title, was like a Beyonce concert movie. Is that...
You beat Beyonce, I hate that.
That's amazing. We beat Beyonce. Yeah.
We love you, Beyonce. We love you, Beyonce.
We do love Beyonce, but I also think what's really interesting, I mean, Mick Garris sums this up really well. Like, he talks about how the horror industry has always been kind of like the forgotten stepchild of, Hello?
I don't like you.
Yeah.
Never mind. Is that better?
Yeah.
Am I ever? Well, but what I was saying is Mick Garris says it really well, is that like horror has always been kind of the forgotten stepchild the cinematic world, right? It doesn't really get any respect. It isn't really considered in terms of awards, except for the money that it makes. And time again, it just continues. I think horror movies make on average 3.5 times their budget at the box office. And so what we're seeing now, which is super interesting, is because of you guys actually rallying around these independent films, studios are putting more money into horror films than ever before. So there's more content than ever before, and that means more opportunities for unknown creatives, which is so huge. So thank you guys for that. That's you, that's not us.
Like Lauren was saying just earlier, I'm incredibly grateful for all of you. Like, there's not, like you were saying, there's not much budget that goes into even marketing for a horror movie. It's all, word of mouth, especially Terrifier. So once again, thanks to all of y'all.
I was with Damien when we found out it was the #1 movie in America for that week before Smile 2 came and fucked it up for all of us. No, I love Smile. Yeah, I mean, it really is, like Catherine was saying, it's a testament to the fans, and especially this franchise. If it wasn't for you, Terrifier 2 wouldn't have been made. I wouldn't be here right now. So we are very fortunate that we get to do what we love, but it's because y'all rally around us and other artists, and especially now more than ever with robot takeover, like we need people like you, and so we can continue to connect to humans. So thank y'all so much for that.
Yeah, there's really no fans like horror fans. Even the fact that these conventions exist, there aren't in other genres. Maybe sci-fi, there's these niche conventions, but I really think horror has something special because of the fans and the dedication and like the willingness to bring us here and meet us and love these films just as much as we do.
Absolutely not. Never in a million years. In fact, when we were doing the hacksaw scene, Damien said to me, "Are you ready to make horror movie history?" And I looked at him and I said, "You're an idiot. No one is going to watch these stupid movies." So here we are. So I don't know what that says about me on multiple levels. The fact that I did it anyway. I know, we had no idea. In fact, most of that film, Jen and I are really good friends in real life, and so is Sam and I, but we all didn't meet until I met Jenna on the set, but I didn't meet Sam until after. And Jenna and I, we were on studio films at the time. I was on this boxing biopic with Naomi Watts, and she was on The Bye Bye Man with Doug Jones, and they had to shoot around us. So unless, we both almost passed, so unless you see us side by side on screen together, we're not acting with each other. And in that hacksaw scene in particular, Jenna had no idea what she was reacting to because we weren't there together, and vice versa. So a lot of it has been we've discovered. I only saw the whole movie all the way through recently. What? Yeah, I hadn't seen it all the way through. So it's kind of an interesting. I don't know. No, genuinely no idea, and I'm still amazed that you guys care at all.
Yeah, that was interesting because my audition process for Terrifier was really dialogue focused. It was very, here, talkie this, talkie that. I think that the first audition was sides from.
Phil didn't bend you over. That was just Jon.
No, so it was really standard. It didn't feel freaky or anything, and no, Phil didn't do that. No, it was really it was exciting because I had made it through the audition process, and Damien had just emailed me a 1-sheet PDF and was like, let me know what your thoughts are on this. So I have not seen any blood, guts, or gore or whatever in any of the audition sides, but it was just a 1-sheet PDF of just the shower kill, and I was what's that? Yeah, it was just it was like he had just took a screenshot of the page in the script for me to read it, and at this time I had not seen the movies, so I was aware of the kill scene in the bedroom in Terrifier 2 and scared me to death. I almost said no because it scared me, and so I'm so glad I did because I really fell in love with the franchise. But yeah, no, his one-page PDF really freaked me out. But I knew he would do it really good. I knew it was going to be cool. I had a Zoom meeting with him, yeah, I just knew that he was going to really do it in a great way, and it was going to be awesome to horror fans and to the horror film genre community. So yeah, I mean, I got really excited because it scared me, but it was really exciting. 23? 23?
It's super brave. I don't know if you heard that. He was 23. That's like so brave.
So, thank you.
Oh
Oh my God, I was 23.
He was 23 when they filmed.
yeah, I just think that's super brave. I think it's such a risk to take to do nudity super young. I can say that from experience. It's a really scary thing to do, especially in something like this that's like really guerrilla style. It's like super brave to take it on. You're such a brave actor, Mason. Really.
I was 22.
Yeah, I watched that whole thing happen. It was so cool to see. I'd never seen a stunt like that. So it was really interesting just to see everything that goes into it. All the prep, all the safety meetings. The fire department was there, but they ran like a well-oiled machine. And I know Jenna Helmuth was the name of my stunt double. She doubled for you as well. She's so talented. So that was really exciting to get to see.
I was upside down for 10 hours, so I don't know if I like remember. No, I did see the body of myself. I saw that, but I don't know if I actually saw it getting cut in half because they had to take me down because I thought I was gonna throw up. Because at like hour 10 in 20 degrees, hanging from your ankles, your body starts to like shut down.
Don't you still have issues because of that too?
Yeah, I still have like, I used to sing and I don't sing anymore because I can't hear harmony. Like, this is like a music thing that me and Elliott will be able to explain. Your eardrum kind of like vibrates, musicians out there, when you're like harmonizing. I don't feel that anymore. And I had to have a minor procedure to put my eardrum back. No, actually I don't know. I do remember getting on the ferry afterwards at 6 o'clock in the morning, going back to New York City from Staten Island, and there was no heat and no running water, so I was still pink, and my hair was still bloody, and they put a bathrobe on me and my winter coat, and David still had the black under his eyes. We were just sitting on the ferry while all these like Wall Street people are getting on going to work, and nobody was concerned at all.
It's Staten Island. You fit right in.
Upsetting than anything else, I think. And I got back to my apartment and I had to share the laundry room, and there was this girl who used to leave her wet clothes in the washing machine, and I took her clothes out and put my bloody clothes in and left her a note. Sorry, had to get the blood out, and went to bed.
Oh no, I was there for the whole shebang. I'm a makeup effects nerd, and like I used to go to horror conventions when I was a kid and follow Tom Savini around, and that's how me and Damien sort of bonded when we first met. So I was like, there's no way in hell I'm not gonna be here for all of this, and my kill is animatronic, right? So we did it in stages, and then the last stage was a robot version of me, basically, and it was amazing to watch. But it kind of looked like Ronald Reagan when it was just like sitting there. And anyway, I have lots of photographs of me and my animatronic double.
Yours is so convincing to watch. There's one moment where it's peeling. Is that you actually?
That's
When
me.
it
That's
is?
me. Yeah, that's
What
me.
was that prosthetic? Were you wearing like a bald cap and you had the fake hair or something?
Yeah. Yeah, we did a bald cap and then fake hair so that they could split it open,
It looks
and
so
it had blood pumps in my scalp. And so, yeah.
Wasn't that team, that effects team, also did like Westworld, right? And like a bunch of other
Passion of
things.
the Christ. Yeah, they're Oscar winners.
The Passion of the Christ and Terrifier.
So the crown that I wear is made by the same people that made the crown in the Passion of the Christ.
That is nice.
It is true. That is a fact.
Lauren is Jesus.
I am the second coming, my children. First of all, being in the same sentence as Jamie Lee Curtis is such an honor. Halloween 1978 is my favorite horror film of all time, and I watch it a lot. I think really what sets Sienna apart, wait, but Jamie Lee Curtis did die. Okay, Halloween is confusing because like she died, but it has different storylines, right? Like, so technically she didn't die. It's confusing. Anyway, Sienna did die, and that is canon, and I think that's what sets her apart. Like, I think it's a horror franchise that dares to say, what if the final girl was immortal too? Just like the slasher. So I really think that's what sets Sienna apart. And she's got a magic sword. So that's like kind of unique, right?
Oh, I mean, my parents loved it. They're actually here this weekend, so they actually raised me on horror, and I actually also grew up going to horror conventions, and they used to be vendors as well. So they loved it. They were watching every single thing. They were pushing for more on every telling Jamie, no, put the syringe closer to his neck, like just like everything. It honestly is nostalgia. When I look back, even when we do these horror conventions and I see people dressed up as Sienna, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like looking at the pictures, and there's so many memories from that set, but also I learned a lot about acting. I learned a lot from this over here. Has gave me advice on acting that I will carry for the rest of my life. Honestly, it was my #1 goal to be in a horror movie, so it's something I'm extremely proud of and honored, to be honest with you.
Ooh, I get this question a lot, and it's such a hard question for me to answer because the Clown Cafe scene was so much fun for so many different reasons. We were there shooting for like a week. A bunch of us were just like staying in this house together, so it had like slumber party vibes, you know, getting to watch all the different kill scenes. I was actually helping them, because I was like wrapped one day, and they were doing some of the like gunshot prosthetics, and the way that they were doing that is they like run tubes up people's clothes, and then someone's down underneath like blowing blood out the hole. I was like, I'll help with that, you know, so I was just kind of like lending hands where I can and just like having the best time. But the nurse scene was like just a grounded acting scene. So I think as an actor, it was like a little bit more rewarding in that sense. And I will be 1000% honest with everybody sitting here that I did not know who Chris Jericho was. I knew that he was a wrestler, and I reached out to my cousin, who's like a big fan, and she's like super excited about it. And so I went into it, you know, knowing a little bit about wrestling and saying, you know, wrestling is acting, but it's very over the top acting. Will this wrestler be able to sell a very grounded scene between two coworkers that have known each other a long time and kind of just like vibing? And yeah, like I felt very connected in that scene. Sometimes when you're acting, the cameras disappear and you're just in it and you're just talking to each other, and that's what I felt that scene was. So I can't really answer which one was my favorite because they were so different for me. But as far as my like acting reel goes, the nurse scene is a better show of my acting skills, whereas the Clown Cafe scene is more of a show of my singing voice than my acting skills.
Actually, it's happened multiple times. There's this trend sometimes when we go to horror conventions, he'll just, like, I'll be going to the bathroom or wherever, and then all of a sudden I just hear, hey, oh, Elliott, and it's David. Yeah. It scares me every single time.
Why is David following you to the bathroom?
He also had to go.
Why is David hiding in bathroom? You mean this is a normal thing?
Yeah, but
I met him in the bathroom too, but we filmed it.
He's fart. We had a fart competition on Terrifier too, but that's not in the bathroom. That was outside of the bathroom.
I've shared a motel room with David Howard Thornton. There was one night on Terrifier where they got us. Well, they said it was a hotel. Wrong. Incorrect. not a hotel. Very active motel, if you know what I'm saying. And we couldn't check in until, we were exhausted. We wrapped at 6 a.m., but we couldn't check in until 3 p.m. Finally, we get into the hotel room. I was probably younger than you when I was doing Terrifier, but just barely. And I go into the bathroom and there is actual blood splatter on the wall. I am terrified.
Pun intended.
I Google the motel, has a bed bug problem. Excellent. David, so I am freaking out. I have my winter jacket on. I pull it up, full hazmat, zip it up. David, unfazed, pulls out a pair of matching jammies, like the jammies, you know, with like the pattern, puts them on, gets under the covers, out cold. Honk shoe, me. David, I'm in the other bed, terrified. Jenna went into New York City for like a meeting or something, so I'm trying to find us like somewhere else to sleep because I'm freaking out. And I pass out while I'm like trying to do this on my phone. Meanwhile, everybody else goes to bed. Jenna returns from the city to the active parking lot. Can't find anyone. She calls me. I wake up, stick my head out the door like a caterpillar in my like thing, and like beckon her to the room. She comes over, she goes, "What is happening?" And I say to her, "I am not getting under the covers. You can do what you want. David is over there. The choice is yours." And so she looked at David, looked at me, looked back at David, zipped up her coat, and we laid next to each other on top of the bed in our winter coats. David somehow did not get bed bugs.
Well, in Terrifier 2, we accidentally got each other with a cat o' nine tails a few times, if you remember. And in horror fashion, I wasn't wearing a lot of clothes, as a lot of women don't in horror. So every time he hit me with the cat of nine tails, even though it wasn't actually sharp, I'm still getting whipped. But I got my revenge, and when I actually do whip him, I got his lip. Like, if you remember, like, there's a moment where she just like whips him, and oh my god, I would do that every day of my life. That was so much fun. I love hitting people. And he got whipped in the lip, and he was just like, ow. You know how Dave sounds. And that was spot on, right? And in the third, the chainsaw, even though it didn't have blades, it was still on. So I would still get scratches on my hand because I was still holding a real sword, by the way. That was a real sword. And I mean, it was dulled, but still, you can still get hurt. Luckily, we did have a wonderful stunt double for Dave, who we did do a lot of the stuff together. And I actually had to like grab his crotch, which was very funny. I didn't grab Dave's crotch, which I was grateful for because I love him and I don't want to grab his crotch. And I remember telling the guy, the stunt double, I was like, "You're wearing a cup, right?" And he was like, No. I'm like, "Please put on a cup. Please wear a cup." But the times that I did do it with Dave, I did my own fighting stunts. He didn't do a lot of it. He did a lot of like the facial expressions. So it was just him like laughing in my face, if you remember, most of the time. So we're just like, you know, looking angry at each other, which was a lot of fun. But I mean, with Dave, it's always easy to work with him. He's just a silly guy. He's just making jokes, and we have a lot of trust. I mean, I was just telling Elliott, we did Terrifier 2 6 years ago. That was 6 years we filmed that movie. It took forever to come out because it's an independent horror film and we kept running out of money and all that stuff. But we've known each other for, you know, the better part of a decade. So we all have immense trust in each other. And I think Catherine could even speak to that more because she's been in this franchise much longer. And that's just what happens when you work with people that you know and love. You just continue to develop trust, and Dave was just, and continues to be, an easy actor to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we're going on 10 years next year since Terrifier. 10 years since we filmed this year. And that was Dave's first film. So, like, it's interesting because I don't have that, like, I don't have the length, the breadth of like working together that you guys have. Although for the Ice Nine Kills video, that's the first time David and I were back in a scenario like that since the hacksaw scene, actually. And I didn't, so we've done like pickups and things, but never together. And I didn't think it would be emotional for me, but like it was. And it was for him too. And someone filmed it and sent it to Damien, and he was like, I'm crying. It was like really actually weirdly cute and fucked up all at the same time.
I had a funny, Lauren, I kind of empathize with, my experience of getting physical with David was interesting because half of the shots, that sounds awesome. Well, so in the shower scene, that chainsaw was dulled, of course, but it was still sharp, and you know the stunt guys were really good at like, here, I got it on my arm, and they're like making it go, and they're like, yeah, it's not gonna hurt you, and I'm like, okay, cool. Right, but no, when David initially breaks through the glass, somebody told me on set, they're like, yeah, David's hand-eye coordination's not great.
Not good. Not good.
So I was like, oh, awesome. Well, yeah, he's gonna like throw it at me and I'm gonna catch it somehow. And they're like, yeah. It was, yeah. But eventually, what honestly made that really hard to film was only some of like the 2 shots where like I'm in frame, like holding the chainsaw, and so is David. Like we filmed a lot of that, but some of like the close-ups of me was literally Steve with no Art the Clown makeup on his face. So it was just bald guy, like no facial like. So I was just like staring at a dude that was so not Art the Clown. It was very funny. Bald man, love him. Steve's awesome.
No, like Catherine was saying earlier, like that's just the nature of filmmaking. You're not always actually looking at your scene partner. In fact, most of the time you're not. Like people love the abracadabra scene with Sienna and Art the Clown, where we're reacting off each other. We weren't in the same room when we did that. When he's putting on the glasses, when I'm looking scared, we're both looking at nothing. So a lot of the times when we're working with Dave, we're not actually working with Dave. Like Steve Delasala is just because he has better coordination.
Yeah, he's good at throwing chainsaws.
He's good at throwing chainsaws. Yeah, it's just the nature of filming.
Theo from working really hard.
Film, it smelled terrible. Those are actual condemned and abandoned buildings. Everywhere we shot, it smelled absolutely terrible. I would think the second was similar, right? Because you guys were in like a warehouse or something? Like, actually, I liked it.
It wasn't that bad for us.
No, I think Catherine has had the worst of every single part of this franchise.
I'm just trying to exist here.
It was an abandoned house too.
Yes, it was an abandoned, like, I don't know what it was, like, mental hospital in Staten Island.
That's where we shot the hacksaw
same
scene.
place.
It smells.
Wait, is it abandoned? Because we shot a
Condemned.
Oh, condemned.
Condemned.
I shot at a hospital, but I thought it was a working hospital.
Yeah.
Could've
No,
been
we
a
shot at
location.
Snug Harbor. I was gonna say, it smells like Axe body spray, because that's what David Howard Thornton wears.
I think so. I think it's very much just at its bare bones, good versus evil. And there's certainly Christian themes that people either love or hate. But yeah, I think Damien has always been kind of fascinated with Grecian epics. He even, when he told me about Sienna, when I booked Terrifier 2, he even said he was writing like an epic, like a Grecian epic. And he's very inspired by the Bible, Christianity, religion in general. So maybe we'll find out more in the 4th. I don't know if you guys have thoughts about this.
I mean, I would never presume to speak for Damien or what his vision is or what goes on in his mind at all. But I think one of the things I've started to realize that's really interesting is, you know, he's obviously such a huge fan of this genre and of like the 80s kind of slasher genre, 70s, 80s. But what's so like kind of, and you see that in the characters and like the different things he like pulls from. But I think what's so fascinating about him is like everything you think is going to happen, the like pre-established rules of the genre, he does the complete opposite, right? Like you think he's not gonna go there. You think he's not gonna show something, and he shows it. Sometimes it's like 10 minutes long. It just goes on forever. You know what I mean? Like you think there's like, you know, he's not gonna go there. You think like at least in the original, there's like, oh, there's this final girl character. Whoops, we kill her in the middle. You know, like you think that like, you know, there's like this supernatural, these like, it's just a slasher. There's supernatural elements. You think he's like a serial killer from these movies, and he like just pulls out a gun. And I mean, like, love it or hate it, it's like he just completely upends the rules of the genre. And I think that there is something super interesting and super like thoughtful about that. Whether you love that or hate that, that's such a unique choice. Similar to, interestingly, there's a lot of ghost-based like Scream and stuff like that. Like the reason Scream is, in my opinion, is so poignant is like it's a self-aware reference of the genre, if that makes sense. And Damien is, whether he's intending to or not, it's incredibly self-aware, I think.
John had brought up Tom Savini, who in my opinion is one of the greatest practical effects, special effects guy that's out there. What do you guys prefer?
I think it's a mix of both. I mean, I think with whatever tool is best for the job. I don't think we should be like AIing, you know, certain things onto each other. Absolutely not. But like, if you talk to any effects master, Tom Savini included, they will tell you, you do what is best to sell the authenticity of the shot, and most of the time that is a hybrid of both. Although on an artist level, I think there's artistry in both. They're both master artists, the people who craft like CGI work and effects in post. They are like master kind of manipulators of things like that. I gave an example at the last show we were at. I did a film where the effects team had done Terrifier 3, and my leg is actually David's neck, because that artist didn't have a scan of my leg, so to double it, he had to like get creative and like, so like, they're all artists, but I think what is unfortunate is that in the attempts to save cost and time, people have pivoted away from practical sculpts, which are just so necessary. The reason that films like The Lord of the Rings, for example, still hold, you know, decades later, is because they're based in a hybrid of practical and CGI. The second they lean into full CGI, you can date the project, if that makes sense. And I hate to see real artists being replaced with cost-effective fixes that don't hold. It gets rid of their jobs, and they're such masters and all unique. Tom, you know, is amazing, but there's also like Greg Nicotero, who's also incredible from The Walking Dead. Chris Nelson, who's also, you know, incredible. Like the masters go on, they all have very different styles that like are telltale things.
Well, I fully agree with everything Catherine just said. My brother-in-law works for Weta, in New Zealand, which he does practical effects, and he's an incredibly talented artist, and I respect that so much. I think on an, like Catherine was saying, on an artistic level, there is a more sense of groundedness to seeing something physical right in front of you, and it's visceral when you see a tube being shoved in vomit. You remember. And yeah, I prefer practical just as an artist because I like seeing things in front of me. However, Damien, there's two different kinds of blood, and Damien really loves to use the sticky blood because he finds it more vibrant. And anybody who has long hair can sympathize with me. Imagine having sticky blood on your face and your hair hardening and getting stuck. And my sword kept getting stuck to my hand. So when I had to like throw it, I'm constantly trying to like get this sword off me. It is very uncomfortable. So I in those cases, I hate Damien and curse him internally, and I'm hoping for CGI. However, I do want to sell the moment, and we will do anything to help sell the story. So I guess, what was the question? Yeah. Practical is better, but also fuck practical because it's really annoying.
And speaking on the practical effects from Terrifier, I will correct that, like, while all of the effects were mostly practical, there was some CGI that went into the finishing touches of it, and it's actually the same artist that Catherine was just talking about with the neck versus leg. His name's Josh Petrino. He did some of the post special effects, but everything was grounded in it was grounded in practical effects, and then he added some CGI here and there. I think in Terrifier 2 specifically, it was Allie's kill was mostly practical, but her eyes, they needed to CGI. So even if you're in the moment and you're there, you're still, as an actor, getting that visceral reaction and then using CGI to enhance that. I think the two can work really well together, but practical effects, I think, will always be better than CGI, especially if CGI is just used on its own. I think that they can complement each other really well, but practical effects is absolutely where it should start.
It's very rare that you're seeing any movie made from like 1982 on that isn't a hybrid of both. That's like a big misconception. And they're all unique artists with different skill sets. But there are, like, again, pluses and advantages to certain types of practical too. Like Lauren is saying, like Ultra Slime, if you've ever, like, I don't know if any of you guys have worked on a film where you've had to use Ultra Slime, it's terrible. Like, you are stuck to whatever you're stuck that you can't move. But then there's also, like, on the Ice Nine Kills video, for example, like, that effects artist was Chris Nelson. That was the easy, I come from, like, the world of indie, like, trauma and stuff, where, like, I learned how to take green and red off my skin with shaving cream. Like, that was, like, that's the hack, that's how you get it off. When I worked with Chris Nelson, it was insane to me to be like, oh my God, this comes immediately off. Like, there's no, like, you know, scrubbing or anything. It just was like, and it still looked amazing. Like, so, I don't know, everyone is unique and brings different things to it, you know?
And even that was a combination of practical and CGI effects, especially for me in the Ice Nine Kills music video. My face was a prosthetic, so that was all on me, but my eyes were CGI. So I did not have contacts in. They said, keep your eyes wide, don't blink them. And then, so in post, it was very easy for them to just wipe the eyes out. And people don't know that. People don't know that that's CGI. But if the prosthetic was also CGI, it would probably be very noticeable. But using those two together, it made this like really epic thing.
I'm coming back from the dead. That's how I do it.
I'm sewn back into one.
I want a conveyor belt of castration.
We all just gang up on Art the Clown.
Oh my God, all of his victims.
You know, the dead people come back and kill him.
I kind of have an idea of how Terrifier 4 will end. Damien told me. I don't know if he's changed it. I don't know if he's changed it since he told me when I booked Terrifier 2. And personally, if he does this, I'd be very happy. I'm excited with the idea that he's given me. So, but I don't know if that's the case. He's writing it right now, and he's kept us completely in the dark. But I wouldn't mind if that's how it ended.